What if I told you the most dangerous part of this case wasn't the gun, but the moment everyone decided they understood what happened? What if I told you the man crying on the couch had already practiced that scene? And what if I told you this story was finished, filed, and forgotten? Until a phone vibrated at exactly 2:17 a.m. One message, 3 words. You missed one. If you're listening to this right now, don't skip ahead. And if you like dark stories that get worse the longer they go, hit like and subscribe. Because once this starts unraveling, there's no clean way out. I remember the smell before anything else. Not blood, not smoke, coffee. Burnt coffee soaked deep into the carpet, sharp and bitter, like it had been sitting there long enough to be ignored on purpose. The police said the scene was clean. No forced entry, no overturned furniture, no signs of struggle. One gunshot wound straight to the chest, fast, controlled. The kind of shot someone takes when they don't want surprises. They called it a tragedy, random, wrong place, wrong time. The kind of explanation that sounds comforting because it doesn't ask questions. Her name was Claire Holloway, 29 years old, organized, disciplined, the type of person who planned weeks ahead and hated unfinished conversations. No criminal history, no enemies, no debt, no public secrets. Engaged to Evan Mercer. Everyone used the same words to describe him. Solid, dependable, safe. Those words always make me uneasy now. They tend to show up early, right before everything falls apart. Evan said he found her when he got home from work, said the door was unlocked, lights off. Claire on the kitchen floor. He said he froze for a second, then called 911. His voice cracked just enough. He cried when the dispatcher told him to check for a pulse, but not when he first saw the body. That detail didn't make the report. It stayed with me. He sat on the couch wrapped in a blanket while officers worked the scene, answered every question cleanly. No confusion, no rambling. He remembered times, dates, names. He corrected an officer on how to spell Claire's middle name. People in shock don't correct spelling. People in control do. Still, there was nothing to hold him on. No gunshot residue, no blood on his clothes. His phone placed him at work until 9:41 p.m. Claire was pronounced dead at 9:58. Timeline locked. By sunrise, the case was already shrinking. Except something didn't fit. Claire's phone was gone. Wallet untouched, keys still by the door, engagement ring still on her finger. Laptop open on the dining table. Screen asleep. Coffee cup beside it, burnt, cold, old. That meant she had been sitting there a while, waiting, watching, or building up the nerve for something she already knew was coming. 3 days later, the case cooled. A week later, it disappeared into a filing cabinet. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed at 2:17 a.m., unknown number, no caller ID, just a message. You missed one. I stared at the message until my phone screen went dark. Didn't reply, didn't move. Messages like that aren't meant to start conversations. They're meant to wake something up. And it worked. The next morning, I pulled everything digital I could find on Claire. Social media spotless, emails scrubbed, cloud backups clean, too clean. Nobody lives that neatly unless they're erasing something on purpose. I started digging into fragments, cached data, background sync logs, things most people never think to check. That's when I found it. A deleted calendar event from 2 weeks before her death. No title, no location, just a time block, 9:30 p.m. And the reminder notification had been manually dismissed. She wasn't asleep, she wasn't distracted. She was alert, waiting. I went back to Evan. Same apartment, same couch, same carefully measured grief. He talked about Claire like someone reading lines they'd memorized under pressure. Every sentence polished, every emotion timed. I asked about her routines. He said she hated coffee at night, said it made her anxious. I didn't mention the cup burned into the carpet. I asked about her phone. He blinked. Just once. She probably misplaced it, he said. That was when I knew he was lying. Not because of what he said, but because of how quickly he said it. No pause, no confusion. He'd rehearsed that answer. That night, my phone buzzed again. Same time, same emptiness. Check the storage unit. Claire had one. Small, paid in cash. The kind of thing people use when they don't want questions. Last accessed at 9:12 p.m. the night she died. Inside was a single cardboard box. No label, no padding, just paper. Screenshots, messages, call logs, photos. All between Evan and another woman. Her name was Lena Price. At first glance, it looked like an affair. The kind of twist people expect. The kind that makes everything feel simple again. But then I actually read the messages. No flirting, no intimacy, just coordination, times, locations, instructions. Photos of Claire taken from across the street, from coffee shops, from inside her apartment hallway. Surveillance. This wasn't cheating. This was management. Lena had a record. Not violent, just manipulation, emotional extortion, blackmail. The kind of person who never pulls the trigger, but always convinces someone else it's necessary. She didn't destroy people directly. She made them destroy themselves. I brought Evan in again. This time, he didn't answer questions, didn't explain, didn't perform. He asked for a lawyer immediately. First time. That shift mattered. Innocent people get defensive, guilty people get quiet. If you're still listening, don't relax yet, because this is where the story starts lying to you. Another message came in. You still think she was the target? That question changed everything, because suddenly the story flipped. Claire wasn't the plan. She was the problem. 10 years earlier, long before Claire Holloway ever learned Evan Mercer's name, there was another death. A college town, a rented house just off campus. A 21-year-old student named Daniel Wright found unresponsive in his bedroom. Police ruled it an accidental overdose. No signs of a struggle, no forced entry, no reason to dig deeper. The case closed in 48 hours. Back then, Evan was just the calm one. The responsible roommate. The guy who made the 911 call and answered every question without hesitation. People remembered how steady he was, how mature, how he held everyone together after. The pattern didn't stand out until you knew where to look. Same timeline gaps, same missing phone, same quiet cleanup before authorities arrived. Claire found it while planning their wedding. Old articles, archived forums. A comment thread where someone asked a simple question that was never answered. Why was the phone never recovered? She kept digging. She found me. Or at least, she found my old memo. Buried, forgotten, but still there. The memo suggesting Daniel's death wasn't accidental. She confronted Evan, not screaming, not threatening, just asking questions. That was his mistake with her. He assumed control would be enough. It wasn't. Here is the truth most people don't want to hear. Evan didn't kill Claire. Lena did. But Lena didn't wake up planning to murder anyone. She was nudged, fed fear, given just enough truth to believe she was protecting herself. Evan told her Claire was unstable, that Claire was digging into old crimes, that Claire was going to expose everything, including Lena's past. He framed it as survival. People will do terrible things if they believe they're cornered. The night Claire died, Lena was in the apartment. Evan wasn't. His work alibi was real. He never needed to be there. He had already stepped out of the frame. When Lena realized what she'd done, panic took over. She called Evan, texted him, begged him to help her disappear. He answered once, calm, gentle. Then he cut her loose. Because Evan doesn't clean up messes. He removes liabilities. 2 days later, Lena Price was found dead in her car. Single gunshot wound, no weapon, no witnesses. Another tragedy, another clean ending. The public story wrapped itself up nicely. Then my phone buzzed again. 2:17 a.m. Same number. Now you understand. But I didn't. Not completely. Something was still wrong. Something Evan had done that didn't fit his pattern. He planned everything. He layered contingencies. And yet, he left clues. Too many clues. That's when it hit me. The messages weren't confessions, they were instructions. Evan didn't just want to escape, he wanted to be followed. Because if someone followed him far enough, they'd see the shape of what he really was. And the most dangerous thing in the world to someone like Evan Mercer is being seen by the wrong person. That's when I realized the truth that made my hands shake. Claire wasn't the last person on his list. I stopped asking who pulled the trigger and started asking why I was being led at all. Criminals don't leave trails unless they want someone walking behind them. Evan Mercer wasn't sloppy. He was deliberate. Every message had arrived only after I made progress. Every clue appeared exactly when the case was about to go cold. That wasn't coincidence. That was choreography. You missed one. Check the storage unit. You still think she was the target? Each line had narrowed my focus, kept me chasing him, kept me invested. Evan didn't just plan the murders, he planned the investigation. He needed someone obsessive enough to keep digging, someone who wouldn't let it go. Someone who had already failed him once, someone like me. I went back to Claire's laptop, not looking for files this time, looking for habits. Claire was careful. She didn't delete things unless she had a reason. Buried inside a folder disguised as system junk, I found audio recordings, dozens of them, conversations she'd secretly saved over weeks. One file stood out, dated 3 days before her death. I played it. Evan's voice was calm, almost amused. "You're not wrong," he said. "You're just late, and late makes people look crazy." Claire sounded scared, but worse, she sounded disappointed. Like she finally understood who she'd been sharing a life with. Then I heard another voice. Mine. Not physically there, but mentioned by name. "You should talk to him," Evan said. "He notices things, and once he starts, he won't stop." My stomach dropped. Evan knew me before Claire died. Years ago, early in my career, I worked a case involving a suspicious overdose. Daniel Wright. I was the junior analyst, the one who flagged inconsistencies, the one who wrote a memo suggesting further investigation, the memo that was ignored, the memo that quietly disappeared. Evan remembered. This wasn't revenge, this was performance. Evan didn't just want to get away with murder. He wanted someone intelligent enough to understand the truth and powerless enough to stop it. He wanted a witness, a mirror, proof that he was smarter than the system and everyone inside it. That's why the clues were never complete, why the final evidence was always just out of reach, why the story could be understood, but never officially closed. I received one final message. Stop looking. That wasn't fear, that was instruction. I didn't stop. I traced patterns instead of numbers, timing instead of locations. The messages always came at 2:17 a.m., always after I uncovered something new. Automated, pre-planned. Evan wasn't messaging me live, he was already gone. The last piece came from Lena's autopsy. A detail buried deep. A faint bruise on her wrist, older than the night she died. Healing, restraint. Evan hadn't just manipulated her emotionally. He had owned her. She wasn't a partner, she was a test run. And Claire? Claire was the upgrade that refused to cooperate. That's when I understood the worst truth of all. Evan wasn't finished. Men like him don't stop. They refine. They change cities. Change names. Find new lives to step into. New people to study. New ways to feel in control. The case was officially reopened. Unofficially, nothing happened. No manhunt, no alerts. Evan Mercer became a ghost with 1,000 possible faces. Months passed. Then one night, my phone buzzed. 2:17 a.m., no message, just a photo. A burnt coffee cup on a table I didn't recognize. And in the window behind it, a reflection. A man watching the photographer, watching me. That's when I finally understood the first message. You missed one. He wasn't talking about a clue. He was talking about himself. Because the truth wasn't that Evan escaped justice. The truth was worse. He wanted to be seen, and now that I see him, I don't know if I'm the hunter anymore, or the next lesson. So if you ever feel like someone is guiding you toward answers you didn't ask for, if the puzzle feels designed just for you, stop. Because the most dangerous criminals don't hide from attention. They use it. And if your phone ever vibrates at 2:17 a.m. from a number that doesn't exist, don't answer. It means you were never meant to survive the ending.